skinny while chasing your dream. That's what Peter Crouch kept hearing throughout his journey. Standing over 2 meters tall, he stood out since childhood, but not in the way you'd expect. He was the center of attention, but also the target of cruel jokes and insults. His father often got into fights to defend him from the hatred. And his mother, she couldn't even bear to watch his matches. That's how painful it was. That was just the beginning. In his very first professional match, the stadium erupted, not in celebration, but in laughter, people mocking him, singing songs about his appearance. "They thought I was a joke," Peter said. It was the kind of moment that would make most people give up, throw in the towel, and walk away from their dreams. But not him. Pause. Music builds. He turned all that hate into fuel, and today, he holds one of the most insane records in Premier League history, the most competitive league on the planet. But how did Peter Crouch go from being one of England's most mocked players to becoming one of its most beloved figures? That's what I'll show you in this video. I dreamed of becoming a footballer, but I knew the road would be tough. My height made me look so different from the others. It almost seemed impossible. Words from Peter himself. He was the only boy in his academy who didn't look like a footballer. Even his own coaches admitted that. To them, he was just a body to fill the team sheet. He started in Tottenham's youth academy. The coach of the U18 team still remembers, "When I saw Peter walk out of the locker room, I thought to myself, this is our future striker? No way." It's hard to believe now, but back then he looked like he didn't stand a chance. A tall, awkward kid, with jokes flying at him every single day. Peter had every reason to hate his height. But instead, he chose humor. He turned it into his weapon. If you weren't a footballer, what would you be? Although Peter wasn't a spectacular player, he had something rare: courage and incredible mental strength. No one could shake his dream. He went through several clubs after leaving Tottenham, until he landed at QPR. That's where one of the toughest moments of his career happened. His first real test. He was called up for his debut match, but suddenly, his dream turned into a nightmare. "What's that skinny idiot doing on the pitch?" Shocking words. But his father had already seen it coming. Long before it happened, he prepared Peter for this moment. "I tried to tell him, you're a kind boy, but if you want to be a footballer, you'll have to be tough." Football is fiercely competitive, and Peter was just stepping into that world. Back then, he didn't fully understand what his father meant. But on the day of his debut, everything became clear. When Peter walked onto the pitch, the crowd froze. Then, they laughed. Thousands of people singing, laughing, mocking him, all because of how I looked, he said. They hadn't even seen me play yet. It was overwhelming. He was just 19. He barely touched the ball that match, trying to hide the whole time. After the game, his dad printed out all the articles that criticized him, to fuel his son's fire. "There were nights I cried," Peter later admitted. "There were times I almost quit. But somehow, he kept going. Some clubs still believed in him. He left QPR with 12 goals in 42 matches and joined Portsmouth. That's where his career started to take off. But his arrival was seen as a gamble. "People told me I was crazy," said the club's director, "paying £1.5 million for a basketball player." But he believed in Peter. And Peter knew he had to give more than anyone else because he was different. And that's when he found his best version. He finished that season with 19 goals in 39 matches and was named Player of the Year for Portsmouth in 2001 to 2002. Then came Aston Villa. He arrived as the club's most expensive signing ever, but couldn't meet expectations. So, in 2004, he moved to Southampton. And there, he faced his trauma again. At every club he joined, his first words in press conferences were to justify his height. That's how deeply it affected him. I realized my height could be a weapon against defenders, he said, and little by little, the headlines changed. What once was a joke became an advantage. Peter wasn't just good with his feet. He was becoming one of the best headers in football history. At Southampton, he scored 16 goals in 33 games. He was called up to the national team, and Liverpool came knocking. But again, new club, new challenge. At Liverpool, he went 18 games without scoring, and over 60,000 people booed him. But Peter had faced worse. He rose again, rebuilt himself, and found his rhythm. He helped Liverpool reach the 2007 Champions League final and won the FA Cup with them. He scored 42 goals in 134 games for the Reds. And in 2006, he reached his peak. Peter Crouch was called up to the World Cup, a story that earned the world's respect. In July 2019, at age 38, he retired. One of only 33 players to score over 100 Premier League goals, and the all-time record holder for most headed goals in Premier League history. Out of 106 goals, 53 were headers. All the humiliation he endured, all the laughs, all the doubts, were repaid with glory, big clubs, trophies, World Cup, and a legendary record. Today, Peter Crouch is one of the most beloved figures in English football. But now I want to hear from you. Do you remember watching this incredible player? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you love stories like this one, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next tactical madness, where football is more than just a game.